Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with your hosts, Mike Sautter and Jacob Padilla.
All right, folks, welcome back into another episode of Nebraska Preps Postgame with Jacob Padilla, or Ia, if you Padilla.
Let's not start off like that.
Padilla?
Yeah, as you can see, this is Mike Sautter.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, back after
3.5 year hiatus on this podcast.
The founder of this podcast, who recorded a grand total of one episode before somebody else told them not to do that anymore, who he no longer works for.
That's
so
okay.
Now I filled in for him. He gave me the call. I was like, sure, I'll do it.
We're switching it back.
3.5 years later, now he and I are together doing the show. So,
which is great because we've been friends for a long time, and
we talk about this stuff off anyway. So might as well just put it on the podcast. So
okay, so let's just get right to it. I think I've seen this show before. So how it works is we look back. It's called post games. We look back at what happened last week in high school sports, mainly football this time of year.
Yeah.
And then
volleyball results though.
Yeah, we will look ahead to a little bit. And we are recording this as the state softball tournament happens. So next week, maybe we'll talk a little bit about softball and break that down a little bit too. But so what happened last week in Class A, there was not any really upset. There was.
Yeah.
Millard West
pretty
lost.
big upset. Yeah.
Southeast beat Millard West. West Side handled their business a lot. So, in a very big way. That was way unexpected.
Yeah. So
the score.
Yeah, we wondered, like, okay, this is the biggest test yet for West Side traveling to Kearney. True, yeah. But it's like obviously they're taking care of business against everybody. Go out there, tough trip out there. It's a good team. Got to be ready to play them. And man, were they ready? Like they've been ready every game this year. 56-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
So
it was a JV game real quick.
A lot going on. Friday, we had the Nebraska volleyball match on an iPad, had the Nebraska football game on the TV, had this Kearney Westside game, the Stride feed up on my phone, trying to follow all this at once. And fortunately, Westside didn't gave me pretty quickly allowed me to turn the phone off and just focus on what else was going on because that was really impressive. I mean, final numbers. Anthony Rizak, 13 of 14 for 277 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. Also converted a 2-point opportunity. So he's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
John Mezras, 15 carries,
game too.
207 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Carries.
Yeah, 207 yards and 3 touchdowns on 15 carries. 2 of the touchdowns went to Christian Jones, a 65-yarder and a 30-yarder. Bo Ryan, Trevor Spady also had touchdowns, and Kearney had 41 total yards. Westside had 7 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and a pick. Just complete domination start to finish there. And that is what
41 total yards in the game, not just the half, which means
the JV guys also.
Other guys played on Friday night in the second half.
Yeah, I mean,
that's still pretty impressive.
Christian and Caleb, like,
all those guys took a break.
They didn't even. I don't even know if Christian played on defense. They didn't make any plays. Didn't need him to.
That's okay.
So that that was really impressive showing from Westside. Kearney still a good team. They just ran into an absolute buzzsaw that night.
And yes, by the way, before we get to it, we will talk about Millard South playing Westside.
Coming up next.
We'll get there.
The respect for Westside, Kearney lost 56-0 and did not drop in the poll. Still sitting at 5.
Yeah.
That shows you the respect that the coaches have for Westside. Like,
I'm the one that
do that to anybody.
Yeah, I'm the one that puts our coaches poll together on the NEB prep side of things. And I was wondering how that would look. And they stayed flat, basically. They didn't move anywhere. So, and I think part of that too is because Millard West lost to Lincoln Southeast, and that kind of moved them around.
Yep. Conversely, number 2, Millard South got the win, but
had to have been a look ahead.
Yeah, 14-10 against Columbus.
I will say this though, Columbus's offense is a little quirky. It's different. They run a lot of different stuff. So having it can be tough to prepare for, I guess.
Yeah,
and Millard South's young. We'll get it.
And that's the deal. Like we've talked about all season long, how all the sophomores they got playing on offense, they're getting better week to week. But this was a rough one. They had 4 total turnovers. They had 3 fumbles lost. four total fumbles. They lost 3 of them. Jet
Could be
Tamala
like the
threw a
first
pick
night
as
it
well.
was a little cold out too, or something. I don't know.
But I mean, yeah, Tamala threw 1 touchdown to Isaac Jensen. They had Ian Longer, their other quarterback, came in 4 or 5 for 40 yards. Also had a rushing touchdown, so he had the other score that they definitely needed to win. Still, Nolan Feller, Gabe Pruka, 100 yards, but it took him 27 carries. Columbus did a pretty good job of making him earn everything he got. But in the end, that defense was enough to get the Patriots to win. So they're going to have to hopefully learn from that, the tape, kind of what happened in that game, because got a big one on Friday. One we've been looking forward to for a long time now.
Yeah.
Just praying the weather allows us to have a good game.
If it rains, whatever, it's going to rain. It is what it is. I'm probably not going to be there just based off of the
Coaches
game of the week. So on the game of the week voting, it doesn't look good. Let's just go into this game, because this is one everyone talks about, and I don't mind spending a lot of time on this if we punt on everything else. But the notes that I have for this game, Westside is, as far as completion percentage as a team, not just Anthony Rizak, they're 76% completion percentage, like on offense. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anthony Rizak's QBR is 153.8, which is remarkable. That's pretty good. Go ahead.
It would be very difficult to be better than Anthony Rizak has been. Say what you want about the supporting cast. He still has to complete the passes. He still has to make guys miss. He's done everything you possibly could ask for him in that position.
When Anthony Rizak gets to college, he's going to have really good players around him too. So, like, I don't get that argument. That argument makes no sense to me. It's like, what do you want him to do?
And
like
something like Damon pointed out too is like, yeah, he's got great athletes around him, but all those guys are playing defense in college.
Yeah,
he doesn't have any 4-star wide receivers or anything. All these guys, he's the one that's
maybe.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Iowa State offer, but like Christian Jones is scoring touchdowns over the place. Linebacker. We know Caleb Benning, obviously.
Safe.
I mean, Anthony or Teddy Rizak out there catching passes too. Like
Spady
Spady, linebacker and tight end. Like they got defensive dudes out there that are just great athletes that make plays happen on offense. So it's a really impressive team.
Millard South, on the other hand, this is, I guess it would dive into it. Let's just go. Something's going to have to give, because Westside is averaging Millard South is averaging 38.7 points per game. Westside's averaging 48.7 points per game. I do not think a combined total of over 80 points is going to happen in this game at all. I really do not think that's going to happen at all. A couple of things defensively. Millard South's defensive front is really, really good. Right, Aiden Miller, Jared Laquana, they're really good.
Adam Pugh,
Adam Pugh. Their front is really good. There's 53. They have 53 and a half tackles for loss, which is pretty good, right? Like that's really good. But Westside's front's no slouch either. They have 53 tackles for loss, so there's just half. For as much praise as Millard South gets for their defensive front, and I called them the best in the state early, like before the season started.
Yeah. And I was at that Elkhorn South game, which is one of the most impressive defensive line performances I've seen all year.
They were tremendous. But Westside's defensive front's pretty good. I'm saying their defensive line. Campbell is pretty hard to move. RJ Eckert's pretty good too. JQ, Jonquil Osler's had a big year for them so far. They're pretty good, and they run 3-4, so it's a little different. But Cam at nose guard, I think, probably needs a little more attention, because he's just really hard to move. He's super strong. Yeah. He's just not tall,
and unfortunately got hurt. So that kind of is having a great season. Broken hand's tough.
Yeah,
but
put a club on it.
Yeah. But yeah, well, and then obviously they've both got playmakers at the second and third levels too. That's the fun things about these defenses. You got Chisenu, you got dudes that have been making plays on that back end, second, third level there for Millard South all year. And we know about the guys on West Side. We've already talked about them. So
I think this is gonna be a defensive game. I'm not going to give you a score prediction or tell you who's going to win because I'm not.
We talk about it after the fact.
I don't need that. Yeah,
this is post game. We're not.
There's one thing. If there is hidden yardage. These are two things that I've kind of pegged, and it's small. But Omaha Westside had such good special teams last year, but they're averaging 34.8 yards a punt. Miller South is averaging 38.8 yards a punt. On punt return, Westside is averaging 8.7 yards a punt return, and Miller South's averaging 13.1. A little bit better, right? As far as
and both have guys like if you
that can break one,
exactly.
No question. Yeah. Like Caleb Benning can do it. Marion Jackson, he did it 2 weeks ago against Lincoln East. Those are just some like little itty bitty things that maybe are the difference there. You brought it up earlier, but Tamala and Feller, their health is going to be like, is Feller playing? Is he not playing? We don't know, and I'm sure we're not going to find out.
So we're not going to tell anybody.
But Campbell's hurt. People are still banged up. Everyone's a little bit banged up
this time of the year. Yeah,
but Tamala heard. He was out for a couple plays against Lincoln East 2 weeks ago. And what that looks like going forward, like if he's not able to push the ball a little bit, it might be
that's going to be a problem.
Gabe Pruiksha's done fine filling in for Nolan Feller, but Feller can do a little bit different stuff, like out of the backfield, catching balls, and just he's really good. He's one of, if not the best, he's one of the best senior backs in the state, no question. And Jamez is right there with him too. I think he's had a heck of a year as well. So it's very intriguing. My one thing on this is the inexperience versus experience of Westside, because on offense, right?
Seniors and juniors versus sophomores.
Yeah, right. Marion Jackson is coming. I think he's going to be tremendous. He's going to have a huge night, and I'm just not sure that can happen with that back end because Westside's back.
And they're going to be keen on him.
Yeah, Westside's back end of their defense is tremendous. Yeah. It's tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, put a corner tight on him, put Benning or Rizek over on that side of the that's going to be.
Can play.
Could be a game where Isaac Jensen has to step up huge if they're really selling out to take away Jackson. Jensen, the guy that can go up and make contested catches, big tight end there, good athlete, another sophomore.
Then they got length like Okafor. They can put on. They got some guys that can put on, some size on the outside too. So I just think it's probably going to be a little more of a defensive battle or type of game. I guess what I'm saying is I don't see it being 56-34 or anything like that.
Ultimately, I mean, Rizek's leg could be the difference,
right?
With how fierce both, because Tamala, as good as he is, not really much of a running threat. Rizek's the kind of guy that can get away. Like if you miss a sack, he's gonna get you. He's gonna gash you there. So like that pass rush, if you get back there and leave open a lane for him to escape and don't finish the sack, then that's going to be big time trouble for
Bo Ryan
them,
might be key in this too to stop the run game a little bit up front. I like him a lot. Yeah, I like him a lot up front. Playing middle linebacker for Westside, I think he's had a nice year, and that could be. It's all about Miller South runs some kind of quirky stuff a little bit, and they like screen game and different things. So they'll have a lot of motion and. 3-by-1 is they don't really play tight end at all, so spread you out a little bit.
Yeah. So unfortunately, neither you and I will likely be there. We both have other things to cover, but we will have the Hurrdat Sports big game
Hurrdat
team there.
Sports big game will be that game.
So
for sure,
the chain will be there. We'll have someone there, eyes on, offering updates. So that looking forward to seeing that play out this weekend. Again, just hope that whatever happens with the weather, we've already seen some games start to move on Thursday, games moving up. Hopefully it's good enough that the guys can just go out and play, and the conditions won't be much of a factor. But that's the game of the week in Class A. Obviously, there's that's also true, but not a whole lot. I mean, you look at the rest of Class A last week, a lot of blowouts. Credit to Elkhorn South, 45-10 at Grand Island. That was an impressive win.
It was in Elkhorn.
Versus Grand Island.
Because I left Wahoo and came. I was going there at halftime when it was 17-10, and I walked in with like 4 minutes left in the third quarter. It was 31-10.
Yeah. Versus Grand Island, 45-10. We know that's tough Grand Island team, not an easy out, and they just ran roughshod over them. 370 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. Brady Bousquet, he's a guy that was hurt at the start of the year. I didn't get to see him play when he was with them. Obviously, they lost their quarterback, Carson Ronner, had Madden Riggs stepping in there. But Brady Bousquet, 20 carries, 177 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They also had Gavin Shanahan go over 100 yards on the ground with a score. And Jagan Sutko also went over 50 yards with a touchdown. So basically, they had everybody rolling there. Just really impressive running performance there for Elkhorn South, who has continued to, obviously they haven't faced the toughest schedule since losing Ronner, but they got out of that. They escaped that game against Central when they did lose Ronner. They beat Grand Island, and obviously they've continued to roll. So we'll see kind of.
Don't look now. Elkhorn South 6-1.
Yeah.
They only got that one loss that,
Yeah, against Miller South.
Didn't go, right.
And that was a really weird game, but Ronner got knocked out of that one as well. But so they took care of business. Omaha North is, and they climbed up to number 3. Omaha North is at number 4, moved up at their 55-0 win against Fremont. Kearney, we mentioned, stayed at 5, and then Millard West, 21-10 loss.
There's some controversy with this one though. There was 4 touchdowns called back.
Yeah.
That Millard West people aren't too happy.
21-10 was the final there. I didn't get to see it.
Real quick though, your guy, I think everybody's guy, everyone root for it. Jackson Williams it's hard not to root for. Like his punt return, we had one of our visual guys there got the punt return. It was awesome. It was great.
Anytime he touches the ball in any phase of the game,
don't kick it to him. No.
Any kick return, running, catching, anytime he touches the ball, it could be a touchdown. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that's what he's been this year. Every time I've tuned in, seen a little bit of the game, he's ripping off a 50-yard gain of some sort. Like, it's just crazy. But in this one, the star of the show, freshman Caden Logan for Southeast, 21 carries for 273 yards and a touchdown. And also had touchdowns from.
He's a guy that he's going to be a guy going forward for sure for them.
Also had touchdowns from Cash Butenbach and another freshman in Mason Meta, Owen Baxter.
Mason efficient. Big tight end.
Yeah, 11 of 14 for 93 yards. Not a lot of yards, but he made the throws he needed to and had that touchdown.
That's all they need to do. Just be a little kind of, because they should just be able to line up and run it.
They're as tough to figure out as anybody, I think, this season. Southeast. It's kind of been all, but that's a good win for them, and they're kind of climbing into the receiving votes section of the poll, going to Brian this week. So that's the Millard West dropped to number 6, and now they will face Lincoln Southwest, which got moved up to 4:00 on Thursday. Mm-hmm. Lincoln East dominated Lincoln High 56-0. Gretna into the poll again at 8. 45-26 against Papio South. Man, Alex Wilcoxon, again, just kind of the dual threat, the numbers that he put up. 171 yards, a touchdown passing, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing. And Isaiah Weber, man, just absolute monster. Every game it's over 100 yards, over double-digit tackles almost. He had 28 carries for 173 yards and 4 touchdowns and 13 tackles, including a tackle for loss, and also converted a 2-point chance. Mm-hmm. So dominant showing from him. The Lincoln East, they just spread it all around, a lot of different guys. They had 4 touchdowns for Jeter Wordley, 2 passing, 2 rushing.
He is not Noah Walters, but boy, is he athletic at quarterback.
Well, I mean, you got to play.
I'm talking about as a passer.
Yeah.
He is really tough to stop. I mean, really tough to stop with his legs. He moves around a ton. He's got a big arm, obviously. Baseball guy. Yeah. But
so, in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
So and he kind of settled into the role last year, earned it midway through, and this year he's had a really good dual threat year for them. And obviously, Dash Bauman's an absolute dude for them going to Wyoming.
He's tall.
Yeah. Papillion the Vista, 28-7 against Omaha Central. The Peyton prestige show again.
We're going to talk about the best backs in the state. He's
24 carries, 139 yards, a touchdown. Also caught a pass and also threw a 9-yard. Again, they love letting him throw it a little bit in the red zone.
Same pop pass that he made.
Also had 8 tackles, including 1 for loss. And Eric Ingerson had a big game as well. 3 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Also 11 tackles, 2 for loss, including a sack and a fumble recovery.
He only had 3 catches, though. I'm sorry.
Well, I think Pert only threw it like 7 times. I know.
People that just look at stats when it comes to when kids commit or recruiting stuff and don't actually watch the games should not pay attention to. You should not comment.
And
soapbox for the day.
Papio against Prep.
Big game.
The other,
that's a big game. That's
one.
for a district title. I think both teams are squarely into the playoffs for sure. But that one's a district title game. It got moved up to 4:00 on Thursday too, from 7. So it's at Burke at 4. So after school, it's gonna be a little different. Prep's coming though. Like this is kind of what we said at the beginning of the year. After I went to their practice, I said, "Hey,
tough schedule.
They're young, and they have the toughest schedule in the state. No question, their toughest schedule in the state, and they're super young up front in particular." And now look, they've won a couple in a row. They're 3-4. They're going to be like in the teens seed, and you probably don't want to play them. Like if you're you don't want to be the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th and play them, right? Especially if they can get up to like if they're in that like 11, 12 range.
I think
tough.
You're planning to be there. I might be there as well. We got to figure out the schedule.
Prep. I'll be there.
And then rounding out top 10, Bellevue West 53-14 against Bellevue East. Danny Kalen 5 touchdowns, 253 yards. C.J. Goff 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ben Goodwater 123 yards on 7 catches and a touchdown. Isaiah McMorris had 2 touchdowns. Will Anderson had a touchdown. So did Caprice Keith and T.J. Whaley. Just kind of a get right game for the T-Birds here. Get their offense rolling again after the defense has kind of had to shoulder the load recently. 10.5 tackles for loss for the defense, including 6 sacks. So Bellevue West, they getting there at 5-3 now. They are on bye this week, I believe.
Bellevue West, yes. Yeah. They had that week.
Yeah, because the week. Yeah. So that's kind of the look at Class A. And in Class B, big week of matchups this week. Last week, there wasn't a whole lot. There were a lot to none. You look at the top 5 in your poll. Bennington, 56-0 against Westview. Scott, 55-0 against Ralston. Waverly, 46-6 at Gretna East. Elkhorn North, 41-0 against Elkhorn Mount Michael. And Plattsmouth, 70-0 against Buena Vista. So that group has clearly established themselves as the top 5 there. York 27-0 against Seward. That was an impressive win. Seward's been scrappy this year. Obviously, they're still kind of hanging in there at the top 10. They're down at 9 this week after that loss. But York at 5-2 has done some impressive things defensively this year. Grand Island Northwest escaped at Gehring 32-31. Norris 30-14 at Gross. It's a good win for them. Mentioned Seward already. And then Blair 28-21 win at Elkhorn to climb back into the top 10. And Bodie Suckup.
That was the first time they beat Elkhorn in a long time.
Yeah. Bodie Suckup, who just committed to walk on at Nebraska, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Brock Templar, monster year, another monster game, 39 carries for 179 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So good win for them. Kind of anything. I think Bennington, they just continue to do what they do. Peyton Sandman, 3 touchdowns. Quinn Archer, 2 touchdowns, 121 yards, had a 71-yarder. Scott Terman had a good day passing, didn't need to run the ball really against Ralston. I know Ralston had Scott had 2 touchdowns before Ralston even touched the ball on offense.
Yeah.
That's the way that game started.
They dominated that.
Yeah. And they spread their touchdowns around. Anthony Heidoff, Colin Pike, Max Chandler, like a bunch of different guys getting in the mix there. Waverly, they Nathan Axman, 160 yards on the ground. They had Drew Moser had 3 touchdowns. Evan Casson. They just got so many guys that can hurt you in the run game. And then Nolan Moss can make some throws as well. Had a couple of touchdowns. So they just had 312 yards rushing as a team, 6 touchdowns. Chase Lofton had a big game for Elkhorn North against Mount Michael, had 3 touchdowns. And then Platt Smith, 26 carries for 365 yards and 9 touchdowns as a team. I mean, Buena Vista, they're still.
Have I told you how big their offensive line is?
Very big.
Their tackles are huge.
And freshman Levi Walker, 13 carries, 158 yards and touchdowns. A good experience for him. They had touchdowns from everybody. Blake Macklin had a huge game for Norris, 23 carries, 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Eli Holt, 9 carries, 66 yards and a touchdown. Caught a 15-yard pass, had 13 tackles, including a sack. So, and then that's kind of the results from last week. And we got some big ones this week. You want to tee those up?
The 2 biggest, obviously, Elkhorn North and Bennington. So everyone is talking about number 1 versus number 2. But in our poll, that's not how it is, which is fine. It's just we have in the coaches poll, it's Scott and Waverly. Waverly and Elkhorn North keep flipping. Like 3, 4. I think it's weird. It's all there's one coach that votes that just keeps flipping.
Yeah, can't make up his mind,
and that's affecting the math for the other. So,
but clear top 4 there.
Yeah, I don't think there's a question. And I think probably Platt Smith is that's clearly at 5 right now.
So we got 2 matchups between top 5 teams in B this week.
Yeah, Bennington Elkhorn North is Bennington's defense is phenomenal. I mean, like way good. Yeah. Lordson is.
Another double-digit tackle game. The toe home.
Gunnar Lynn is awesome. Like they're really, really good.
Some big linemen.
I am very interested. Again, I think this is like 20, maybe 21-17 or something.
100%.
Maybe 17-14, something. Like both teams just rely on their defense to play well. Is Sam Thomas healthy enough? He had a little bit of an ankle. That's going to be big.
No, we got hurt against GI Northwest.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like you see in Elkhorn North,
there's no size though. Here's the thing. There's Chase Lofton is big enough. Well, that Mechna's big too. Their 2 receivers are big. They don't have big, tall. Bennington doesn't. But their defense is so good and well coached. It's just maybe throw some YOLO balls up and get catches like that. I don't know, right? But I do think that it's going to be a pretty defensive game, like 17-14 something.
And I mean, Elkhorn North is going to have to run to be able to stop the run because they're they've been impressive defensively. Their back end's real good. They're getting, I don't know how many interceptions they have this season, but it seems like every game they get 1 or 2 picks between Tommy Mechna, Jet Tinglehoff, a couple other guys back there.
Tinglehoff's had a huge year.
They're going to have to stop the run though, because Bennington's going to keep handing off to Archer until you force them to pass it. In a game like this. So they got to find a way to shut down the run. You mentioned Sam Thomas having that big body up there would definitely make a difference. But that's
and they rotate him in. He plays more, I guess, offense than defensive stuff. They move him around a little bit, but tackles for loss, just a thing. Elkhorn North has 54 on the year. Bennington has let's see. Sorry. Should have this ready to go. Bennington has tackles for loss has 41. So both teams have like 10-ish sack. Like they're pretty disruptive. I just think that this is going to be a defensive game. Elkhorn North would like to establish a running game.
Yeah.
I'm not
Tinglehoff
sure
in the backfield.
Tinglehoff
against Lordson, like if they can keep him clean, let him get to the ball, that's going to be a fun matchup there. So that's a really good one. And then the other one is Scott against Platt Smith. Yeah.
That's a tough guy game right there, man. Like I'm serious.
Whole lot of running there. Yeah.
Well, it's a hard hat game. They're going to need to. And I will tell you this, the one, so before I went to Platt Smith's practice at the beginning of the year, I talked to Matt Verzel and he's like, and I talked to Coach Turman too. And he's like, go to Platt Smith. Platt Smith's going to be pretty good. You should go to Platt Smith. They got 44. They're like, I don't know his name, but 44 is a dude. Like he's just a dude. And Verz kind of over exaggerated a little bit. He's like, he can cuss like 5 of our kids last year in the game. And Caleb Atkins is 44.
Oh, okay.
And he is
one of the state sack leaders, I believe.
A dude. Yeah. Like really tough. So Dom versus Lena, like
and be key that option game going against Adkins, and it's gonna be tough.
They not only just the option game, they will run, and they've obviously shown it, but they'll put their two big tackles. They'll run power. They'll put one as a tight end on the same side and just run behind them. It's like, how do you stop that?
Yeah,
it's really tough. Yeah. Like really, really, really tough.
And we mentioned, it's got just so many options. That's the thing. You never know who's going to be carrying the ball on any given play, because quarterback, they got three backs that can all hammer the ball, carry it. A lot of options
Maxwell
there.
Chandler is a really good player.
Yep. And so is Colin Pike. And so is Hyde. Like all three different kinds of runners. And then you got Turman in the option game as well, who's great at reading it and making
Turman's really good in the option.
Pulling it down and taking what he needs. So that'll be fun. We got two top 5 matchups in B next week, and then Waverly is going to Seward, so another top 10 there. So that's kind of what we're looking forward to.
Kind of sneak one in there, like
obviously coming off the rough one against York, they gotta rebound
York's
quickly.
Defense is really is. So C1, let's just kind of look real quick, or unless you got more on B.
No, the only noteworthy, I think, result in C1 really in terms of poll changes was the Adams Central win over Aurora, 21-19. They climbed a couple of spots there.
I watched the end of that game, actually.
Nick Conant, big game, 23 carries, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns there for Adams Central, who are 7-0. And so they climbed up into that top 4 now. But, I mean, outside of that, it's what we've seen. Boone Central, Wahoo, Ashland Greenwood. I know you, Wahoo, right?
I was at Wahoo, saw them just handle Columbus SCOTUS pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
They are really athletic. 2 wrestlers do a really good job running the ball for them. They have a big one. DC West is a game. There's a couple of big C1 games, and there's 2 of them. That one, Wahoo DC West, is a huge game. It is a respect game for DC West. Like, we belong.
Had a great season so far. Now it's go knock off.
We're in this conversation because they went to Boone and only lost 19-14 or whatever, and that was a little was a little shocking, right?
They're 6-1 at 6 in the poll.
Because Boone, everyone just kind of is crowned as like, man, they're clearly the best team. Yeah. So we'll see. Also in C1 is it Ashland Greenwood going to Roncalli?
Oh yeah, that's right.
A huge game.
Man, a lot of good games on Friday.
Probably the 2 best, quarterbacks, if you will, in C1 playing each other.
Brady McGill and
Dane Jacobson. Dane Jacobson and McGill. So that they're probably the 2 best, right? 2 really good little guy receivers and oars for Roncalli, and like Thomas Spears for Ashland Greenwood, and Spears is actually a really good tackler.
And Drake Zimmerman, monster in the running game for.
So we'll
Ashland
see
Greenwood.
If they can. I don't know up front if Roncalli is going to have to really get off the field.
Yeah. So those are 4 big time games. Obviously, 1 versus 2 in A. You got 2 top 5 matchups in B, and then you got that huge matchup there. 2 other, I guess, top 10 matchups you mentioned in C1. So good Friday slate of games this week that we'll
there's
talk about
a big
next
one
week.
in D2 too. Why not? Bloomfield is a big game. It's a little bit of regional rivalry game, I guess, in 8-man 2 or D2. Yeah. Which those playoff brackets for 8-man come out on Saturday morning. Already. We're already. And then the 11-man come out the next Saturday.
Yep. So we'll wrap up here with a couple of quick shout outs here. Donovan Trumbull Sr., Jaden Williams, who has done it all for them this season. 27-29 for 311 yards and 3 touchdowns passing. Pretty good, right? Also carried the ball 18 times for 123 yards and 2 more scores. He had 6 tackles and is also the kicker. Had 7 kickoffs, went 2-2 on PATs. Also broke up a pass on defense in a 42-12 win against Gibbon. Jack Poppy was his favorite target there. 10 catches, 105 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Shout out to my guy. And then Wisner, West Point Beamer Senior, Trevin Weddle, 22 carries for 255 yards and 3 touchdowns. Caught 2 passes for 13 yards. And also had 12 tackles, including 1 for loss, in a 28-14 win against Wayne. So huge game there. Hastings St. Cecilia, Senior Chase Evans, completed completed 12 passes for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns, and also carried the ball 19 times for 131 yards and 2 more touchdowns. So big game there. And there's a bunch of other guys here. We'll cut it off there because we got to get out of here. But man, good week of some monster performances in C2 in particular.
And we will have more next week. We'll break down all the games we talked about, and hopefully weren't too far off on the little keys to the game thing.
Yep. Hopefully, hopefully these games.
We probably were, and if I was, you'll let me know. Fans and people that watch us, you definitely will tell me if I was wrong. So that's okay. At least I didn't pick a score or a team to win a game. So don't come at me with that.
We'll be back next week on Nebraska Preps Post Game.